I'm Callie Lewis at IDG's Macworld 2009.
Geek Brief at Macworld.
I wrangled the cranky geek, Mr. John C. Dvorak, for an interview. Thank you.
Hey, good to be here.
So for those who shockingly don't know John Dvorak, dvorak.org/blog, describe a little bit about your history, because you're one of the main guys in tech media.
Yeah, I've been writing for about 30 years about this stuff, and now that it's dying, I figure that I'm going to go do financial stuff now. But
Financial stuff?
yeah, well, I've always written. I've written for Barron's, and I used to be at the Forbes, and now with MarketWatch, and people seem to be more interested in that because the economy being what it is, they're kind of interested in what they can do to get out of trouble, and the tech scene seems to have been taken over by bloggers and attractive women that do interviews on the street.
Are you trying to say something?
I'm always trying to say something, but so I'm going to probably do less tech coverage starting in about 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. You're still doing, you have Tech 5?
Yeah, I got Tech 5. I also have I do a column in MarketWatch where I cover tech, and then also PC Magazine Online. I got Inside Track. I write for overseas for a magazine in Brazil and one in Croatia, and I do the blogging.
It's all over the place.
I do the blogging thing, which is dvorak.org/blog. But if anybody wants to follow my stuff, not to give myself a plug, but channeldvorak.com, you can find everything there.
You know, I heard you start to plug that on a twit a couple weeks ago, and I was just shocked. It's moved away from dvorak.org/blog, so.
Well, I find it tedious, and I think, and especially on Leo's show, and same thing with that. I do a show with Adam called No Agenda, which you should look up. But it's like, you say, yeah, I do this, and I do that, and I do this. It's just like you're listing off all these things. Nobody's paying any attention. If you could kind of consolidate everything on one site, just kind of a nexus. So channeldvorak.com, then people can, because I don't think everybody really wants to read everything I do. They might be only interested in a few things.
So describe Tech 5.
Well, Tech 5 is a 5-minute daily show that wraps up the top news stories of the day, and then we do a weekly version called the Tech 5 Top 5, which usually runs on Friday. And essentially, it forces me to go over all the news stories, and I find the ones that are the most interesting, and we try to jam them into 5 minutes. Sometimes
I know the feeling.
Yeah, sometimes with some commentary, and then to give some people some dimension, because most people don't really deliver a lot of dimensionality to just straight news. And
No Agenda. Describe that.
No Agenda, Adam Curry and myself, we talk for an hour and a half about global issues, because he's in London, I'm in the Bay Area, and we go on back and forth about what he's reading in the newspapers over in Europe, and what I'm reading in the newspapers over here, and what they're thinking over there, and what we're seeing over here. And it has a very large audience. We have about 250,000 people listening to it now, and it's interesting because it's just, you don't get this global perspective anywhere.
Yeah, it's a total different perspective from both sides of the pond.
Right, and not only that, but we have an opinion, obviously, of sorts. We tend to be a little bit more conservative, I think, as commentators than the typical
tech people. Yeah.
Right, but except for that, that bias. In other words, we're not big subscribers to global warming, and we think that there's evil in the world that's trying to screw us out of our money.
I'm right there with you, John. Thoughts about the keynote?
I didn't go to the keynote. I don't go to keynotes. They record them, they put them on the TV, and why should I kill myself to go to a keynote when...
We ran in with our camera gear and our microphones, and people are trampling. I thought there was going to be a Walmart incident.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it was crazy. It was.
Why? Steve wasn't there. I mean, what was the point? Did Steve he didn't even do a cameo?
No, he didn't. I was really hoping.
Yeah, we were predicting he was going to do a cameo, because that probably would have been a good idea, like even on the screen or something. But I don't know. I mean, I think Steve's going to be out of it. I think we're going to see the last of Steve. But, there's not much in the works for Apple for the next year, but it's probably not a bad time to kind of pull back and market what you've got rather than, push your luck with new products.
They've got a lot going, so. And then it's time for Steve to kind of step out of the picture, or for it to be less, Steve-centric.
Well, the thing that really makes Apple work is they're design-centric. They're very oriented toward the design of the products and the usability and the cool factor and all these things, which Steve is the one that made that happen. But I think I guess after a while, it's possible that the whole company is starting to think that way, which is what has to happen, obviously. If they go back into their old ways of, making beige boxes and not caring about, the cool factor, and, become pragmatic, which is not the way to go, then, yeah, Apple will just go back to its old ways.
Thank you for joining me. Twitter address?
The real Dvorak, by the way. I can use a few more people.
Wait, are you ahead of me yet?
I got 36,000.
Don't. Follow me, not him. Twitter.com/Callie Lewis or Twitter.com/TheRealDvorak.
Good to be here.
Don't forget to use promo codes GB1, GB2, or GB3 at checkout at GoDaddy.com when you register or renew your domain names. I'm Callie Lewis. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go ride the carousel now.
Geek Breed Fast.